Hail friends, welcome back to the channel. Bob here, and yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little update to let you know how things are going. I'm currently well, I'm about a bubble from 43, and I'm in West Freeport. Is it West Freeport? I'm not sure. Maybe it's East Freeport. I know it's not North Freeport, because that's where the Paladins are. But I'm in Freeport on the Guards. I've done videos here before. I'm sure you all know about it. Not a secret camp or anything. It's just a loads of guards you can kill. Yeah, and it's just that's kind of like it's not a bad thing. But that's kind of like the life, I think, of whatever. That's like the life of an evil character, I think, from about level 30, 35-ish. Is that there are so many great guard camps to just go to. You know, it really is like a staple. I think for good characters as well. You know, I think that was one of the good things about EQ Classic, was that just Everquest in general, was they didn't try and prevent you from killing mobs, as it were. Guards were fair game. Pretty much every NPC was fair game. Obviously, for a good character, you've got Ogok and Grob as well. So yeah, I think guards, probably certainly in Classic, I think guards, certainly if you're soloing, I think guards are a big part of that. Awesome. It's great. I mean, I enjoy it. You know, I know some people out there will be saying, well, you should be going to dungeons and grouping and. But I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing here, and I think it's. I mean, I've got goals, and I think it's quite good to have goals. You know, I think someone coming into, if you're a new player coming into the blue server now, you can have goals, obviously. But what I've liked most about I've got a real pasting there. It doesn't normally happen. What I quite like about the green server is that the goals are stuff that you can do. You've kind of got like a time frame, which I quite like. You know, so certain things that it's like challenges almost, where you do certain things within a time frame. Yeah, and I've quite liked that for whatever reason. Yeah, just one of those things. One of those things where it's a bit like, I mean, I've been watching quite a lot of World of Warcraft recently, and I recently installed the game again myself. And it's quite a trendy thing at the moment to do like hardcore characters, and I've quite enjoyed watching that. I think I have to heal up a bit here, just a bit, just to get myself back on track again. Yeah, I mean, that's quite. I just find that quite interesting. You know, it's quite. It's like a new. It's just like a player adding a new element to the game themselves. You know. Giving themselves goals, and that's kind of how I feel. Yeah, that's how I feel. Let's turn that music down a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel here. You know, what's going on here? What's that? No. Well, guard walked past me. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why. I know that a lot of people, well, I say a lot of people, you know, some people seem to have stopped playing green, etc. Maybe it wasn't kind of what they were expecting, but that's kind of what I'm quite enjoying about it at the moment, is to just kind of have goals like, you know, like Guys of the Deceiver and blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Maybe getting a couple of characters to level 50 before Kunark comes out, you know, and then obviously going through the whole trauma of pulling your hair out, trying to decide which character to get to 60 first, and then not getting any of them to 60. My usual thing. Yeah, but it's a guard fest. It's what we're doing. I'm enjoying it, and yeah, that's it. What can I say? There another camp as well that someone mentioned to me, that I went to quickly, and then I came here with someone to do some guards. And I've kind of stayed here, but what I'll probably do is go and show you the other camp as well. I think this camp here, as I said, I've done videos of it before, so I don't think there's any secret particularly, but I mean, I seem to remember staying here like till 49, maybe. So it is a camp where you can stay for quite some time if you want, but my current plan, as I said, is I've got a bubble to go till 42, 43, and I'll hopefully bash out 44 over the next 2 or 3 days, and then I'll go and start doing a series of videos on my Guise of the Deceiver camp experience. See how it goes. We'll see if the camp see if camping those items is as bad as some people say. But I'm sure that some people have had some good experiences as well, you know. So I'm always a bit you know, like, as I've mentioned it quite a lot before, where psychological, your kind of psychological profile of mine, as anyway, kind of bleeds over into game, like, you know, online gaming as well. Anything that's social is a bit of a problem. And one of the things I kind of find with things like camping is, I mean, I would go to the camp and I would want to help someone, you know, but if you get to the camp and you've got a load of grumpy old gits there who are saying, oh, well, if you can't solo the camp, you shouldn't be here, blah, 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 then you kind of think, well, should I be helping then as well? You know, there's kind of like a, well, that creates some tension or whatever. But a few of you have, you know, have mentioned that you'd kind of like to do the camp together. So yeah, I mean, if I'm on, you know, and I'm at the camp and you see me on, then just give me a shout, you know, and yeah, that'd be pretty good to sit in a group with some people who watch the channel. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. But I'm kind of here doing some stuff. Oh, hang on. Oh no, okay. Tristle Whistle Song. No, okay. There was a NPC just started to attack a pet, and oh, there's a little dove just landed on my windowsill. We put some bread in the garden. Oh, hello, there's another one. There's 2 pigeons just landed on my windowsill. Maybe they've noticed the bread in the garden. I don't think bread's particularly good for birds in general, but you know, hopefully they take it easy. So, just if you've never been to this camp before, you've got Guard Jendal, who spawns just here. Then you've got a couple of roamers who roam up and down this pathway here. Mizrain is one of them. There he is. He's the one that we'll be dealing with next. I'm not sure what level these guards are. I think some are 35. You've got Guard Kroon, of course, and Guard Inifus, who are mental, essentially. I think I'm not sure if they're 40 or if they're the same level as the other guards, but like, they're hardcore. You know, I mean, they are like, I guess to a point where I can solo Kroon, but it won't be for like 2 or 3 levels. But yeah, I mean, he will just rip you to pieces and resists off the scale. So I'm kind of skipping him at the moment. We're not going too crazy. Yeah, and that's kind of all I've got to say, really. I do that may not appear like it. I appear to be the case. I do kind of read all the comments, and assuming it's not a stupid comment, I do try to give all the comments a little thumbs up as well. The Pantheon one's quite an interesting thing, isn't it? Because one of the things I kind of gathered since I did the video was there seems to be a lot of people who are kind of 50-50, you know, so that they were super duper excited at the start when the game was first announced, but it's not like they're still not excited, you know, but things have kind of certainly cooled off a bit, which I think is a natural reaction. And I think, of course, the problem as well is that I think it's a development process that people are probably not are not used to, you know, in this day of, you know, a game being completely unfinished but being put on Steam or whatever. You know, we're not used to this old school kind of development process. I mean, going back a long time now, but well, a very long time, kind of like late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, like obviously back then, the only time you ever heard of computer games was Well, the only way you could read about computer games was buying a monthly magazine from newsagents. I had a Commodore 64 as my first computer that I owned myself. Yeah, and so Zap 64 was my Bible, but that was the only place that you ever read about games. You know, it was awesome. And but I think magazines were a lot more up to date then. You know, you would get a magazine and they would feature games that were coming out or had just come out, so you know there wasn't too much of a delay. And then I would go down to, we didn't locally to me, we didn't even really have a proper game shop. You know, we had a record shop that also sold games, so I would go down there with my pocket money and buy the latest game, whatever it may have been. Yeah, but it's very different now. And I think that's probably what's hurting the Pantheon development. You know, I thought about it after I did the video, and I think that's probably what's hurting the process a bit. When I say hurting, I know the internet, you know, there's an element that is just generally negative about everything. But I think that it's people are just not used to this sort of development. You know, they're not used to being not allowed to play. And just watching bits and pieces of the development as it's happening, you know. So it's it's interesting. It's interesting, as I said. I mean, I still feel that the game is probably a couple of years away, if not longer, like before there's a release. So I do wonder if I do wonder if when the game is finally ready for release, like who? Oh, what the hell. Okay, well, there you go. It's my guard camp gone. So I've got two guards. Yeah, I think there is a guard right around here. There are a number of guards around the corner there, but you know, looks like someone's camping them. I don't like to do it, but when those kind of things happen, I just get into the frame of mind where I just think, okay, fair enough, free for all. You know, the guard Ethel I'd kind of killed a couple of times. There's another one here. Inifus is another undercon. Just avoid him if you're low 40s, I think. You could probably do it, but you know, what's the point? Yeah, I do kind of get into this frame of mind sometimes where I just think that just treat stuff as free for all, like a lot of people do. I mean, to be fair, that guard was up, guard Ethel, and I hadn't pulled him, even though I'd killed him like 3 times before that. Yeah, so if I see him up, I'll just pull him, irrespective. I think that's kind of, sometimes that's just the way you got to be. Oh, there we go. My pet went flying in there. I didn't realise I got hit. I must have done. There we go. What you kind of also find here about this, in this location, is I try and kind of stay over this side if I can, because it happened to me again today where someone was running to zone into North Freeport, and but obviously the guards didn't like them, so they pulled all the guards around essentially. Yeah, and they all, and Kroon and these cronies went through here, which is quite annoying. Yeah, so. Yeah, getting back on the topic of the Pantheon thing, it's going to be interesting to see just how popular the game is, you know, when it comes out. I think that's the thing, because I think that you get, I think a lot of the promotion they've done has been quite good. You know, you get some sort of big Twitch influencer and whatnot who, oh, hello, I don't think I probably should have done that. I'll see how Zebtik gets on. Yeah, you get some big Twitch influencer to kind of, you know, stir up interest and stuff. But as I said before, you know, like when your content is based around, what's the stream of variety streaming, you know, this person, is Zebtik going to win the fight? Yeah, I'm not picking up swords because I'm overweight, but I don't want to go and sell them before I level, so I'm just ignoring them. Yeah, when you're a variety streamer, obviously you know, even no matter how excited about Pantheon you are, you make your living through playing lots of different games. So I think it was good to pick up early momentum, but You know, when you think that the release of the game is still a long way away, maybe it was a bit too early for that momentum, because that momentum will die off. You can keep it going, I guess, to a certain extent, but it gets to a point where I think even the most... I think it gets to a point where only the really, really ardent fanboys keep saying things like, oh, well, I'd rather it was done properly than come out early, blah, blah. I'm not saying that's not a valid point, but, you know, it gets to a point where pretty much everyone else is like, for God's sake, when's this bloody game coming out? Is it another Star Citizen? You know. Yeah, but we'll see. There's a couple of things I was going to talk about as well. Nothing particularly interesting, but I'm kind of hoping to do some... I started doing some like atmospheric video type things for Everquest. I think I did a video in Kenos Hills maybe or something that I really enjoyed doing that. So I might do some more of those. Look out for that. I bought myself a copy of Star Wars Galaxies Empire Divided. For a long time now, I've been wanting to do a series of videos. There's two emulated servers. I think one of them is pre-combat update, which I think a lot of old players saw the combat update as a disaster, and then there's one post-combat update, I think. So I was kind of hoping to maybe play both. I was hoping to maybe play both, just to sort of do some comparisons and see how things go. I quite like it. I mean, I didn't play the game as much as I'd like to have done, but it's got a nice sandboxy thing going on, and also it's got like the beast trainer class where you kind of tame animals and stuff. That I'm always in for a bit of animal taming. A shame that Pantheon doesn't seem to have that, but there you go. So I might try and do some videos on that as well. It's kind of that brings me on to another point actually, and that's to do with the MMO merry-go-round, I guess we would call it. I'm not sure if it's worth staying here. Now I've only got a couple of mobs to pull. Maybe it might be worth me moving to the other camp. We will see. Yeah, but the other thing as well is like the MMO merry-go-round. I mean, I'm sure as some of you noticed, even if you're kind of new to the channel, you know, is that I do tend to... I don't want to get Croon, although that other person may have killed Croon, maybe, I'm not sure. I flip between lots of different MMOs, like a overactive, like hyperactive moth. around different coloured lights, and that's kind of how things have been for quite some time. There are MMOs that I prefer playing. Someone recently asked me about Project Gorgon, which I do plan on doing more content, but as I said, like my play habits at the moment are flitting between 3 or 4 different MMOs, and obviously, you know, that's a bit of an issue, but Star Wars Galaxies will be like yet another one, you know. But I will cover the games that you came here to see. I think it's just that at the moment I don't really have a game. It's been a while since I had an MMO that really, where I was waking up in the morning and thinking about the game and I really want to log into the game. I mean, P99 is kind of the one, I guess, by default that has kind of like been winning that fight, particularly with Green, because there are things that I just want to do on Green. But once I've kind of, and I know that like before Kunark comes out, I know that I'll reach a point on Green where I'm fairly happy, and then I'll probably concentrate on another game. But until that happens, I think the other MMOs kind of take a bit of they're just like secondary, you know. So I kind of look, even though I've said, and as I said in the video before Christmas or just after Christmas, like Project Gorgon is currently my favourite MMO with regards to mechanics and just some really, really interesting stuff. I think the reality is that the P99 Green server, the stuff I want to achieve on that server is currently, you know, trumping what might be wanting to enjoy playing a bit more. And you got Worm as well. I mean, you know, I'm hoping to before the Worm Steam server comes out, I'm hoping to be at that point on Green where I'm fairly happy and I don't need to keep logging in, you know, because I'll be waiting on new content essentially. Oh, what's that? Is that a fine steel dagger? Nice. yeah, and I think that's probably something that's coming quite soon. I keep seeing some dudes running past who look fairly well twinked out, and I'm not sure if they're players that like killed that guard around the corner. Not sure. Seeing quite a few twink players now. I guess people who went crazy at the start, yeah, have now reached that point where, yeah, things are pretty settled for them, you know, and they're twinking out other characters to raise them up and stuff. Not sure who that person was who killed these guards, but looks like he killed Kroon as well, which is quite interesting. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go and sit down and wait for more guards to spawn, and I'll speak to you again soon. I'm trying to get into a situation where I'm like doing these update videos as often as I can. You know, I don't want to keep repeating the same content over and over, because that's no fun for anyone really, and certainly not you, certainly not me. But yeah, I'm trying to put something out often during the week. Yeah, just to keep things ticking over on the channel, and trying to keep things interesting. But those of you who have queried, I've kind of got my new PC set up pretty good now. I've had the internet installed. That happened a few weeks ago, and that's pretty good. You know, the download and upload speeds are kind of twice as fast as they were at my old property, so I'm happy with that. I've started mucking around with some new video editing software, but not anything too super duper at the moment. What I'm hoping to do in the future is, I know I've kind of said it before, what I'm hoping to do is I'd like to create some content that was more creative. It wasn't just me sitting here talking over some gameplay. There was gameplay going on, but, you know, maybe just some guide videos where, you know, I kind of edit together clips that are relevant to what I'm talking about, and then kind of talk over it, kind of thing. I'm hoping to get some sort of little intro before each video. If anyone's got any advice as to what programs to use to do that, then give me a shout. You know, that'd be, I'm always interested in advice on kind of making the content a bit more interesting. But that's it for now. I'm approaching 43. When I'm 44, I will be going to Camp the Guys, and I'll do a series of videos on that, which I'm looking forward to. You know, that might be where I try my artistic, where I kind of test my artistic abilities and see if we can put some fun content together for that. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.